6-0, 6-0, six cracking goals. Central Coast Mariners have absolutely slaughtered APIA Leichhardt in the quarterfinals of the FFA Cup. My name's Lockie, this is Coastwood Football, and we are reacting to what has been one of the biggest wins we've seen in a very long time from the Central Coast Mariners. What a fantastic victory, and so many positives coming out of this game. Particularly, I just want to start talking about some of the young players. You know, we saw Max Ballard, Harry Still start together in midfield. The likes of Matt Hatch, Sakenis, Kowal coming off the bench. Some of these guys getting on the score sheet. What a fantastic night for the club. So let's jump into it right now because, and I can see you guys jumping in the chat right now. Brock is in here, Mr. Saints fans in here. Dude, what a fantastic game. First of all, I mean, looking at the lineup, there was a little bit of rotation made for this game, which we expected heading into this one, you know, especially after such a, the game on the weekend was very, very warm. So we saw the likes of Bozanic rested after a long, hot 90 minutes. Same thing for Marco Arena and no Lewis Miller as well. So, you know, Storm-Roo, it was Max Ballard, Harry Still starting in the middle of the park, as I mentioned earlier, and Harry McCarthy making a start as well, Benny and Kalolo being shifted into the side. So there was still plenty of strength. I mean, it wasn't like completely a second string side, and there was plenty of new faces off the bench. Not necessarily new faces, but I guess some players that were making their debuts off the bench as well. But dude, we started well. We started strong on the front foot, and getting that early goal was super important. And of course, it was Max Ballard who scored his first ever goal for the Central Coast Mariners. What a cracking goal! That already was a fantastic strike. But as we saw later on in the game, that was going to be beaten by a particular strike by a particular Matt Hatch. But anyway, we'll talk about it in just a second because from there, we controlled things. You know, Mateus Muresh being utilized in attack, Max Ballard and Harry Still, you know, we're looking okay in midfield. There were a couple of shaky moments for him. Max Ballard lost the ball a couple of times after scoring that fantastic goal. But look, we kept APIA Leichhardt on the back foot. They did have a couple sort of chances on the counter-attack, like half chances, nothing too serious. Mark Birighitti really wasn't tested too much in this game. Dan Hall getting his first goal for the Central Coast Mariners, though, in the 24th minute, bouncing around from the corner. Kai Rolls was in there, Jacob Farrell in there as well. It was Dan Hall who was there to stab it home. And of course, MacArthur, APIA Leichhardt had an injured player come off in the first half, which it didn't help them. And you know, from there, you know, losing up one of their first team players and then 2 goals down at halftime, it was going to be difficult for them because. Difficult for them actually when we scored the third goal in the second half, because you felt like there were a couple of times where APIA Leichhardt had some early corners there in that second half, and you thought if they scored, it could make for certainly an interesting game. Certainly an interesting game. But let's talk about. We've got some comments coming in here as well. Good to see all you guys in here. Lisa's in here. Alex is in here as well. And yeah, man. So shifting into that second half, rightly so, Nick Montgomery made the decision to rest some players, bring some players off, which was important. The likes of Josh Nisbet, Jacob Farrell coming off. Jacob Farrell in particular, this is the first time Jacob Farrell has had a break. The dude's played every minute since going back to what was, I think, just over a month ago now, starting the campaign, the first competitive of the game in Mudgee against Blacktown City. That was the first game ages ago. So finally he got a rest. Noah Smith made his first appearance for the Central Coast Mariners. It was Mateus Muresh who got on the score sheet once again in the FFA Cup in the 55th minute. It was a weird goal because actually all those goals in the second half were oddly easy. It's almost like APIA Leichhardt just goal by goal started to lose confidence, just backed away from the game. And that goal's just from a goal kick, and Mateus Muresh easily able to run onto it, just, you know, far ahead of the back line, and chips it over the keeper and scores a fantastic goal. So Muresh getting on the score sheet as well. And then, yeah, the likes of Sakenis, Smith, Kowal, Garen Kowal came off the bench as well, and I thought he was great. And he got the 4th goal. Fantastic little move from him, showing great speed as his brother had as well. So good to see him make a good start to his time at Central Coast Mariners as well. Matt Hatch coming on for Benny and Kalolo, and we'll talk about Matt Hatch right now because it was 4 minutes into his appearance in this game. Scores one of maybe one of the best goals I've ever seen from Central Coast Mariners. Look, I'll say from a Central Coast Mariners player. I'll say it right now. What a goal! I don't know if he meant it. Maybe I'll have to get him on the podcast and ask him, because the ball comes out to the left-hand side. You think nothing's on. He might try and make a run. He might make a cross. Just smashes it, and it swerves into the far post. Insane goal. Matt Hatch, fantastic stuff. And again, so good to see these guys come onto the field and not simply have an impact, but get on the score sheet. And it wasn't over there. There was a red card, of course, we should mention. It was Walter Scott, the former Perth Glory MacArthur left back, who was sent off for Leichhardt. That was almost a fantastic... And that red card was when he brought down Dan Hall, who had a fantastic game. Dan Hall making an incredible run down straight through the middle of the pitch, and would have been a way to score what would have been a fantastic goal. And Walter Scott rightly given a red card. And then Noah Smith, 88th minute. Fantastic to see Noah get a goal. A player who I had on the podcast early in pre-season, and seems like a great guy, and so good to see him get his first minutes for the club, and so good to see him get a goal, get involved in the scoring in this game as well. So look, as I mentioned, man, it's exciting knowing that, you know, what was eventually by the end of the game, their second string squad, pretty much overall for the Mariners, these guys having such a good impact, you know, scoring and being ruthless. And that's what I wanted to see. That's what we want to see more of, especially this season. We've made such a positive start to the season, you know, not just in the FFA Cup, but across the A-League men's competition. I want to see more ruthlessness. I want to see, you know, putting teams away, finishing chances, building confidence, you know, not just amongst these individual players, but as a team as a whole. You know, I want a culture around this club that we're going to win games and win them convincingly, even if it is against, you know, all respect to APIA Leichhardt Tigers, who are, you know, a club with a lot of history, but we simply outperformed them today. If you look at the stats, if we'll pull up the stats now, APIA Leichhardt, 16 shots, only 2 on target. They really barely troubled Mark Berry-Giddy. The Central Coast Mariners, 20 shots, 11 of them on target. Honestly, we could have had a few more goals. We were running rampant, especially in that second half, especially after that red card. It just became super, super easy for us. We've got some good comments here in the live chat. I can see your chats coming in now. Elise says, if we keep bringing these youth players on our whole team, it will be one of the fittest teams out there. Look, that's one of the exciting things as well, the fact that all these guys have got so much industry about them, and so much, their stamina is just incredible. When you look at, you know, Matt Hatch, both Max Ballard and Harry Still ran at the full 90 minutes. Who else was on there? You know, Dan Hall is now turning into it has built a lot of good senior team experience as well. So, yeah, you're right. These guys can come on and can finish off a game. It was just such a complete performance in Central Coast Mariners. I want to talk about my votes now, my 3-2-1 votes. I'm going to give my 3 to Dan Hall. I thought he was fantastic tonight. Not only was his partnership with Carroll solid at the back, as always, as we have seen it for the past few weeks, but got on the score sheet and almost had a second if it wasn't for that red card foul by Walter Scott. So, fantastic performance from a player who's just getting better and better. And look, I will say it now. This is an interesting thing, and if you're watching in the live chat now, we'd love to hear your thoughts. When Ruan Tongic comes back, do you drop Dan Hall for Ruan Tongic? Do we drop Dan Hall for Ruan Tongic? I'm going to say no, not at the moment. If he's playing this well, we've 3 consecutive clean sheets across all competitions now. You know, clean sheets against Sydney FC, clean sheets against Western Sydney Wanderers, 2 teams that have good players in attack. And Dan Hall's looking just so comfortable. So comfortable. And yes, Ruan Tongic was one of the centre-backs in the league last season. But yeah, if these young players are playing well, I mean, I don't think Montgomery will do it anyway. And we've seen evidence of that because he's given Jacob Farrell an extended run in the first team. You know, Noah Smith has experience. He played 9 games for Adelaide last season, but opted for young Jacob Farrell, who was playing his football not that long ago at his junior football at Wyoming. So look, it's getting better and better for the Central Coast Mariners, and this win was so impressive, especially as well that I feel like heading into this game there was a little bit of pressure on the Mariners. Of course, I didn't mention it at the start, but for those that don't know, APIA Leichhardt, of course, defeating Western Sydney Wanderers 2-1 in the FFA Cup just a couple of weeks ago. So there was a little bit of, apprehension heading into this game that, maybe they would be able to snatch yet another cup set, APIA Leichhardt. But Mariners showing their quality in this game. Let's talk about 3-2-1 votes. I completely forgot. 3, Dan Hall. We'll go 2 Kai Rolls. He had a fantastic, he did like a Maradona spin or something in the middle. You guys see that? It was around like the 80th minute. Both Dan Hall and Kai Rolls had a few runs just like where they just went for it. Fantastic stuff and solid at the back. And of course, it has to be mentioned, Kai Rolls wearing the captain's armband. Look, I could go on forever about the growth of Kai Rolls, and we've seen him come into this club, a junior from Brisbane Roar, comes into a club. He was part of the sides that lost 8-2 to Wellington Phoenix just a few years back, and this is where Kai Rolls, in my opinion, is growing into one of the best centre backs in the league. He was fantastic last season, so underrated. Picked up an award in the Mariners Medal last season, and is just growing and growing. And look, at this rate, I mean, he's been involved in the Olaroo squads. He was involved at the Olympics in Tokyo earlier this year, and at this rate, there's no limits to what Kai Rolls can do. So what a fantastic player and another fantastic performance. And he's growing into a leader, which is what we need more of, to see not only these young players flourish, but these young players go on to grow as leaders. And we've seen that from Kai Rolls, who, he's still 23 years old, but he is leading this very young Mariners side in this game. And then I'm actually going to give my 1 to Garang Kuol. I thought he made a really good impact in I think it was almost half an hour. He had, of course, scored that lovely goal and had a couple little moves here and there. So there was a nice pass down the left-hand side for Sekenis. So good to see another Kuol brother coming on, having an impact for the Central Coast Mariners. And, of course, we all know what Alu Kuol did for the Central Coast Mariners. But, yeah, man. We've got some more comments in the live chat. Martin's in the chat. How's it going, mate? Can't drop Dan. How fast is Dan Hall? You're all right, yeah. The way he's performing, yeah. Pumpkin Pod says the Wyoming Tigers. Yeah. Elise says, Dan Hall better than Ruan Songy. That's all I have to say. How good. Dilstar says, did you hear about the Rolls transfer rumours? Thoughts? Haven't heard anything about that. This is the first I'm hearing about it. Haven't heard anything about that. So that is interesting. Look, from the mini rant I just had a moment ago, it doesn't surprise me, because especially with some of the way some of the young guys are going. And look, the club has made it clear, I'll touch on it as well, the club has made it clear the intentions of what we want to do with these young players. We saw it with Alec Kowal. We develop these young players and then we sell them on and, make a profit, make the money, you know what I mean? And that's what a club like has to do, that doesn't have the big money of some of the big clubs like, Sydney FC, the Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City, Western Sydney Wanderers. We're not a big money club like those clubs. We have to operate in a different way, and it's so exciting to see that there's the development of these young players is really working, and I think we're going to see some more deals happen, hopefully soon enough. And look, I'd be stoked. Look, I'm stoked for these young players to secure these big moves if they do come up, and it's good for the club. It's good for the club. It brings in money for the club, and we see these players go on to succeed. And I don't want to hype up. I don't want to get too carried away with this season, but I'll end off this live stream with this, and it's something that I've been thinking about a little bit. We saw from around like I guess 2010 to 2013, 14ish. This crop of young players in Trent Sainsbury, Tom Rogic come through, and Bernie Abini was involved in that squad. Of course, Matt Ryan. How could I forget? These players come through, and look what they've gone on to do. Trent Sainsbury has been one of the top Socceroos centre backs for how many years now? Tom Rogic just won the Scottish League Cup and has been a star Socceroo for many years now as well. Matt Ryan. We all know Matt Ryan. don't have to talk about Matt Ryan. So look, I'm not saying we're seeing the same level, that these guys are going to hit the same level, but it's got that same feeling about it. When you look at these young players, there's so much excitement and optimism around them, and the talent that they're showing in such an early stage. These guys have barely played any A-League minutes, man, barely any, and they're having such an impact from the get-go. And credit, once again, has to go to, I haven't mentioned him at all this live stream, Nick Montgomery. What a fantastic job Nick Montgomery has done to come into the side, a coach under pressure. People were questioning the competitiveness of the Central Coast Mariners this season. Nick Montgomery coming into the side, no, sort of A-League club experience, big club experience. He just spent some time with the academy side. But guess what? That is paying off, that experience with the academy side, because these young guys that he knows very well, he's bringing into the squad, and it is working. These guys are clicking. It is working. We've just won 6-0 against a very good APIA Leichhardt side who beat Western Sydney Wanderers just a couple of weeks ago. So look, I'll say it again. I said it a couple of weeks ago on a podcast. If you are a Central Coast Mariners fan, you have to be very excited about this season, because we are seeing a shift. We are seeing a shift in seasons from the Mariners. And the reason why, honestly, talking about it now gives me goosebumps, is because we spent 6-7 years, in a shithole at the bottom of the ladder, a joke of a club. People were calling for us to fold. And we are changing. We are changing that now. We are shifting that. We are shifting that culture. These young players that are coming in and re-energizing our club, re-energizing the energy, and this as a new sense of optimism now, man. I could go on about it forever, but yeah, I'll end the live stream there, because otherwise I'll just keep rambling. But look, I'm just so excited as someone who's been supporting a club since I'm a kid. All I want to see is us to be competing at the top, and we're doing that at the moment. So look, massive 6-0 win. It's I've got a big smile on my face. I'm very happy to see these guys absolutely tear it up, and good to see you guys in the chat as well. Sunday Ball is saying Monty is killing it. Dean says easy win. That's right. Sunday Ball says, what a manager. Keeping the culture true to the coast, promoting exciting youth. Central Coast is going to be huge. That's the thing as well. Hopefully this is the start of it's not just a one season thing with these young guys. These young guys are just going to keep getting better and better. So hopefully this is the start of, a long run of years and years where we can sort of maintain a position at the top six. So that has been my match reaction for this massive FFA Cup win. Central Coast Mariners 6, APIA Leichhardt Tigers 0. We go into the semi-finals. There's some games to be played tomorrow night in the FFA Cup. Sydney take on Brisbane. Gold Coast Knights take on Melbourne Victory in the round of 16. Melbourne City take on Wellington Phoenix. Look, we're not there yet, but this is a great chance for the Mariners to win some silverware early this season. Guys, thanks so much for jumping into this live stream. Do appreciate it. Have a great week. Have a great Christmas. See you on Thursday. I'll be dropping my round 6 predictions video on Thursday. Until then, have a fantastic week, and I'll